Hey everybody, Matt Johnston here with another COVID-19 legal update. So, the Department of Labor was working this weekend. Over the weekend, they issued some additional guidance or new guidance dealing with the Families First COVID Response Act, the FFCRA, and mostly dealing with questions and clarifying some things that are coming out about various definitions, questions regarding what is a healthcare provider, public sector workers, things like this. I'll put the link to the new guidance down below, but I wanted to address one big question that is coming up. And the question that's coming up is my small business exempt? I keep hearing about this exemption for small businesses. What do I have to do to be exempt? So let's be clear about something. While a small business exemption does exist under the statute, I strongly encourage employers to be as judicious in its use of this exemption as possible. So under the statute, as it was passed and as it will be implemented by the Department of Labor, a small business with 50 or fewer, with fewer than 50 employees, so 49 or fewer, those employers would be exempt from the requirement to provide paid sick leave, the PSL, or to provide expanded FMLA, the EFMLA. That employer would be exempt from it if one of the following three conditions is certified by an authorized officer of the business. So essentially the owner or some other sort of senior manager, chief operating officer, chief executive officer of the business. So the first of those is that if you could be exempt if paying that leave or providing that leave would use up the cash resources of the business. So if you don't have the cash flow to pay the paid sick leave, and you don't have a cash reserves, and you haven't received any of the federal or state aid that may be available, then you are not required to provide the paid leave. That's under the federal statute. Bear in mind that just because the federal statute exists does not exempt Maryland employers or other states that have a paid sick leave requirement. So that federal paid sick leave is in addition to the state paid sick leave. The second condition is if the employee is a key person in the business such that the loss of their knowledge of the business, their skills, their particular abilities, that the loss of that would impact negatively the operational ability of the business to keep going. So just an example that I'm going to make up here. Let's say you are in an essential business that you are operating, and you deliver foodstuffs in the supply chain. And one of your forklift operators at your warehouse comes and asks for leave, and he's the only forklift operator in the entire place. All right, it's a little specious, I understand, but I'm just trying to say this person's skills and knowledge are so relevant to the operation and continued operation of your business that you cannot afford to operate without this vital forklift operator. Then you don't have to give that person the paid sick leave. Again, it's not a great example, but think of it in terms of what are the employees that you have that are so vital, that are so necessary to the operation of your business that you absolutely cannot do without them and still be able to operate your business even at a minimal capacity. And the third is that if there are no other employees who are ready, willing, able, trained, knowledgeable enough, and available to work at the time and place necessary for the business to maintain its minimal business operations, then you can exempt that particular employee from receiving FMLA, EFMLA, or the federal PSL, paid sick leave. So here's the big fat honking caveat. There's two of them actually. The first is, as I said before, be very judicious. If you can figure out a way to make it happen, make it happen. Okay, even if you have to sort of jump through some strange contortions, The reason being is that you may open yourself up to more problems down the road if you try and take this exemption. Now, I know really small employers may not have much of an option. If you're in the food service industry, restaurants, things like that, you may not have much in the way of option, and I get that. But if you can figure out a way to make it happen, try and make it happen. The other thing that I want to remind everybody of, and this is going to be important, be very, very careful about how you choose to exempt employees. It is likely to come up that these are still subject to anti-discrimination laws. You can't say this employee over here has to work, but that employee over there can't. Or this employee gets to take leave, but that employee can't. Everybody is part of a protected class. And so if you start to make decisions based upon things like whether somebody has children or not, whether somebody has older adult family that they're taking care of or not, whether somebody is full-time or part-time, those kinds of distinctions are going to be very, very hard to justify as you go forward. So if you're going to be in a position where you're going to be trying to take this small business exemption, consult with counsel so that you can make sure you're making the best decision possible. Okay? In the meantime, keep washing your hands, practice some social distancing, pay attention to what's going on around you, and keep your chin up. We're going to get through this, and we are here to help. If you have any questions, you can schedule a phone call with us down below. And I'm starting to put these things in here, but you can go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel right next door. It's one of these two corners over here. So I hope to see everybody soon. Talk to you later. Bye.